What's this I'm holding in my hand? This is a fresh flower bouquet with flowers from my yard. And guess what? It's October 19th. I live in Zone 3 in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And I have this bouquet of flowers that just survived -6 degrees Celsius. So let me show you how I did it. Hey, it's Krista with Shifting Roots, and if you are new to this channel, I talk about cold climate, short season gardening with a special focus on cut flowers. This bouquet was basically an educated guess that I had taken notice of things that were happening in my garden over the last 3 years. I wrote an ebook about it, and this was my year to really trial those ideas and do them intentionally instead of just having them be happy accidents in my garden. I've went through the spring portion, was pretty delighted with what I was able to push out in the garden early in April. You can see some of that in this Zone 3 April gardening tour. And then today we are going to talk about the fall portion and how much you can push these flowers. And so while by no means everything about this bouquet is perfect, I really think this challenges us as Zone 3 cold climate gardeners that we could have flowers a lot farther into the season than we think. And we can plan for this. Now, of course, if there's going to be a surprise, -30 in October, there's nothing we can do about it. But I think it's feasible that with low temperatures, maybe down to -5. I mean, this was -6, but I'm going to say -5. There's no reason we can't have flowers. All right, so let's get inside. It's super cold, and I'm going to talk about what I did and the flowers that work. And yeah, come on in. All right, so first let's talk about those happy accidents. So what happened the first time was I had purchased some snapdragons. They were still in their little cells, and I just didn't get to planting them out. And it got later and later in the year, and finally I planted them out, but they were so stunted that they didn't really bloom until August. And then of course it froze in September, but my snapdragons were still living, and it froze again, and it froze again, and my snapdragons were still living. They lasted until about -10, and so that's sort of what got my wheels turning. And then in the years after, I tried stock flowers, I tried sweet peas. Sweet peas are funny because I think in warmer zones you get the impression that sweet peas bloom in the spring. Not for us. Sweet peas seem to consistently bloom for me in August, and they last well into the frost. And so with all of the flowers like these, that's where I got the idea to try and see how long I could actually extend my harvest. So I started researching about flowers that could start the frost. The only thing was, as a northern gardener, I'm always very skeptical when I read advice from warmer climates. I'm sure, like, obviously the advice works in the warmer climates, but I'm never really sure if it'll work for me in Zone 3 in Canada. Here in the prairies, our winters consistently get to -40. Frost tends to come early. You know, we just don't always trust the advice of someone who's living in Zone 6+, where, you know, their first frost isn't until probably like late November and maybe doesn't get any lower than -20, -15. As a side note, that's actually part of the reason why when I went in on gardening, that was one of my missions, is to be that one place that you can find information about northern gardening on the internet, because I know there are not a lot of us out there, but thankfully more and more are coming in. All right, so let's talk about what's in that bouquet. So of course we have those sweet peas I mentioned. There's some stock. The stock was very interesting this year because of the warm temperatures. It didn't really do anything. It sort of like fried out when it was supposed to be blooming. So what happened instead is I think it bolted, and I got multiple stems of flowers on one stalk plant, which isn't supposed to happen. Stalk is supposed to be one and done, but I got multiple stems, so it was pretty cool. There's also calendula, straw flowers, there's larkspur, and status. Okay, status. If you have not planted status before, you need to plant yourself some status. It's one of the first things to bloom. It's cold tolerant in the spring, and you just get succession after succession when you cut them. They're fabulous. And you know what? Even after I film this, I still have some status outside, and I'll tell you how long it lasts. I bet you it'll last until the snow. I also have a little bit of kale in there, snapdragons, total classic, some Dara. Now the Dara, the newer stems of Dara, they were kind of drooping a little bit with the -6, so that doesn't really work. But the one that was stronger, the main one, it had a really thick stem, that one was totally fine. Yeah, I'm just really excited about the implications that this has. One of my goals is to be able to offer consistent flowers until Canadian Thanksgiving. And I think with planting those types of flowers, I should have no problem accomplishing that goal. If you're also interested in extending your season as much as possible through the frost, I have an ebook that I published, The Frostproof Flower Garden. It's up here. And that just shows you the different flowers that are available to you. I also have a little sample plan in there, and I will definitely be updating that book in the next couple of weeks with all the stuff that I've learned this year. And also, if you're thinking about getting into my flower farming course that's opening up on Sunday, watch for that YouTube video. That book will be in there, so you don't need to buy it if you're going to be in the course. Also on Sunday, I'm going to be revealing my final total of what I made in my first year of flower farming. It's a very exciting total, and I can't wait to share that with you. All right, friends, let's go back to what I recorded outside. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this video inspiring. I mean, look at what we can do. And I can't wait to just continue this experiment forward next year and grow even more flowers and have them last and be in my customers' hands longer than possible. All right, friends, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.